Hi, welcome back to another sneak peek at the Creek. I'm Mr. Fierra, and I am here with Mrs. Baratta. Mrs. Baratta is one of our district supervisors. What exactly is your title?
I'm the supervisor of planning, research, evaluation, assessment, and special projects, and I'm also the district supervisor for the business department.
So I did hear in their assessment, and I believe we have something coming up that might be kind of important in the district. And we're talking about today the park. Now, when we talk about park, we're not talking about a place with swing sets and sandboxes and things like that. We're talking about park. What, for people that don't understand, what does PARCC, it's an acronym, what's it stand for?
PARCC stands for the Partnership for Assessment for the Readiness of College and Career. What that means is it's a consortium of states that have agreed to give the same national test to all their students sitting for grades 3 through grade 11, and it's for English and for mathematics.
Okay, now what happens now to the New Jersey Ask? What happens to the, what's the one, the HESPA? What happens to these tests?
They're being replaced by the PARCC. So for all of you that have taken tests already, you've probably sat for the NJ Ask grades 3 through grade 8, and prior students have sat for the New Jersey HESPA in grade 11. Now the state has chosen to change their state assessment process, and all students in all grade levels are being tested for the PARCC as the state assessment.
Okay, so
it's replacing.
No more New Jersey Ask, no more HESPA. We're still having a state test, but now it's the PARCC. And you're saying that this has been a national initiative, that we have other states doing this?
We do. There's, I believe, at this time, 9 states that are all participating in the consortium, and they are all agreeing to give the same assessments nationally.
Okay. So last year, if I remember correctly, we still did the HESPA, and I believe there was still the New Jersey Ask, but we were kind of picked as a school to try out or be like the guinea pig for the PARCC assessment. We kind of tried it here. So this is not something completely new to us, but what are the differences between a New Jersey Ask and a PARCC?
Okay, so basically the biggest difference is that you're now taking your assessment online. And you are still given scrap paper, you're still given a pencil. On the sections where you can in mathematics, you're still given a calculator. But there are actually features on the online system that actually help students, like masking different answers, that sort of thing, to help them to be able to close in on what they want to have as a response.
So it's completely on a computer?
It is. For special needs students, if it's in their IEP, they may still have the right to take it by paper and pencil. But for the most part, every student in the state is taking an online assessment for both the math and the English.
Cool. All right, so we're going green. It's paperless.
We are. We're going green,
All right.
supporting Green Team Initiative.
Tell me about the amount of time. Now, I've heard that there are, HESPA and New Jersey Ask, these tests, you'd have them once a year and that was it. This is happening twice a year?
It is. The first session of the PARCC is actually called the PBA. It's the performance-based assessment. And what that means really is that students are sitting down to take an assessment after 75% of the school year is complete. So they've received about 75% of their instruction and curriculum. And that's when they get to really sit down and answer questions that are more of the type of open-ended, and they have to formulate like some major responses to that, whether it be in English with essays or paragraphs, or in mathematics where they, do an open-ended where they explain their answer.
Gotcha. And then there's the EOY or EY?
Yes, it's the EOY.
EOY.
That's
okay.
called the end of year, and that's given after 90% of the school year is done. And basically that's to check for the rest of the content, but it's also multiple choice. Now, it's not the basic multiple choice where you can just readily, eliminate some answers and have a third answer. You might have to, still do the work on paper and pencil to calculate the answer and figure out which response is correct. So
do you think it would be fair to say, to keep it in the simplest terms, the performance-based assessment, the one that happens first, could be considered somewhat of a midterm, even though it's a little bit past the midway point. It could be kind of a midterm. And then the EOY, end of the year, is kind of like more of a final exam in a subject area.
Yes, but they don't use those terms in the
Right.
PARCC language, and the PARCC does have other pieces out there for the pre-assessment, which in our district we make our own by content area, by the departments.
Right.
And they do have a midterm piece that they have that we are not needing to implement at this time.
Okay, so throw out those
terms. They're the
Gotcha.
old terms.
Don't even listen to that.
Yeah, no, but it definitely is more of a focus on after 75% of the content's done, so 3/4 of the way of the year is complete, and then the 90% is to kind of pick up that last piece.
Gotcha. So the big question, I guess, is when? When does this happen? And how does it really happen? Because if you're talking about computers and you're talking about, there has to be some space. And I'm not asking for specifics, but it's going to be a little different than what we're used to as far as, when we took the HESPA and the New Jersey Ask, where everybody was in lockdown, everybody was in a classroom, and everybody was doing it at the same time. We can't do that when we're all doing it on a computer, because we don't have a computer for every single student in the building. So how does that work? Is there a longer time, a shorter time? Or?
Well, so there's a couple responses there. The first piece is that we have broken up the testing schedule into 2 sections that the state has given us. The first session for the PBA starts March 2nd, and the state has given a 20-day window, which means a 20-day school day window. And we actually will be able to finish the initial testing in 13 days district-wide, including Timber Creek
But
here.
we do have a little slack time just in case of a snow day or anything?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we have room for snow days, we have room for illness, if students happen to be absent during any portion of the test. We do have makeup days, so even though we're finishing the initial testing in the 13 days, we still have 7 days where we can, shift because of a snow day and
Gotcha.
or create a makeup for a student that may have been sick for any of the sessions, that
Gotcha.
sort of thing.
So we have that flexibility within the 20 days
Yes.
to be able to get this done. So it could be certain students going at different times, not necessarily everyone all together at once.
Oh, no, absolutely not. We've created 3 sessions every day in that window. So the first session will be during 2nd and 3rd period. The second session is during 4th and 5th period. And the third session is during 6th and 7th period. The regular day will continue as normal, and teachers will go on about teaching their regular classes, and the students will be called out by course and by section. So they'll be testing with their students that they normally have that class with, and they'll be called down to either the LMC floor or the new
Gotcha.
lab that they created. So there's different locations, and really what we've done is we've broken it up. The math portion takes 2 days. So they would sit 2 consecutive days in a row for just those 2 periods, that's it. And the English takes 3 sections in the PBA, so it would be 3 days consecutively for those 2 periods only.
Gotcha.
And the rest of their day would continue as normal.
That's normal. Okay.
And then
So
it
it's not a
changes-
full day thing? for
No,
everybody.
it's not a
Okay.
full day for anybody, not even for the teaching staff. They're teaching as normal, and teachers are being the test administrators based on their availability and if they were able to be free to be the test administrator during that period. And then the only difference with the EOY is there's 1 less session for the English. So it's 2
less,
sessions for
okay.
math and 2 sessions for English for each of
Okay.
the students.
A little bit of a break. Not much, but a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as when the students will kind of get an idea of where they're going to go and what, there's probably going to be some kind of a schedule. When do you anticipate this happening? We're at least over a month away now. So they'll be notified as to where they have to report what they're going to do.
Absolutely. We've created a schedule, and we are actually sharing that with the different schools this week. Triton has theirs, Highland has theirs, and I'm working with the Timber Creek staff actually today.
Gotcha.
So all 3 buildings have the plan, and the teachers are being shared the plan, and it will be up to all of us to make sure that the different classes know when they'll be assigned and on what dates. The general dates that the different courses are testing are published on the district website under the parent and student tab, under the assessment calendar. And so you'll see that Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 are testing on 2 days, and then it's the grade 11 English for 3 days, then it's the geometry for 2 days, then it's the English 10 for 3 days, and then English 9 for 3 days.
Gotcha.
So we're following a sequence, and that has been published. But specifically what day and what session, we're working that out now as to how we're going to notify either through their teacher
Right.
or through PASS's
So students-
logistics.
When you're watching this, now you know, relax. People
Yeah.
will tell you exactly what you need to do. Do not worry. You're not going to walk in going, where do I go? You'll know way in advance what you have to do and be well rehearsed in that.
Yes.
So one final question, and I thank you so much for all this information, because I think if someone's watching this, they kind of have an instant grasp of, okay, now I get this. How does one study? Does one study for this? How does one prepare?
Well, I will tell you that in our English departments and our math departments, the teachers have been taking the students down to our labs and exposing them to the content through the practice problems that are available online. If you go to www.parcc.org, you will find also the practice exams there, so they could easily do this from home if they happen to have internet access, or they could come to the library, and they're welcome during lunch or after school to also access those websites, and there are free practice problems and how to use the tools. But we have definitely been taking the students down and getting them at least prepared for the style of questioning, since it appears online instead of on paper.
Mm-hmm. And any test-taking strategies for any kind of test apply here. PARCC, as well as long as I know, is the PARCC. That's what we're calling PARCC, right?
Yes.
Not PARK. Just
No,
in
yes,
case people
PARCC.
read it on the website or want to look at it, it's PARCC. Test-taking strategies for any test-taking. They should get good sleep, good breakfast. that kind of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. They should always go to bed early the night before. They should get up in the morning and eat breakfast and get a good solid day started. They should come to school like they regularly would. There's no need to have any anxiety over taking the assessment. It's not going to be an all-day thing, so they just need to come prepared, and obviously either leave your cell phones at home, or they will be collected at the front of the room and turned off and then returned after the sessions are over.
No cell phones.
But bring a number 2 pencil just so they could do some scratch work. But certainly they're being prepared in their classes, and I don't think they should treat it any differently than any assessment that they have in their courses.
Walk in the park, as they would
A
say.
walk in the park.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this information. If anyone should ever have any questions on anything further, they can always call their building administrators, and we can surely call Mrs. Baratta to try to get the answers if we don't know them. So thank you so much for all of your
You're
information,
welcome.
and we look forward to the park.
It was
Thanks
a
lot.
pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us at Sneak Peek at the Creek.